Despite all that raw power you're carrying, 700 pounds of muscle, claws like knives, and the confidence of something that fears nothing, there are animals on this planet that can turn a grizzly bear into a casualty. In fact, some of them wouldn't even struggle. Today, I'm putting you face to face with 5 animals that could actually defeat a grizzly bear in a real fight. We'll analyze what would actually happen in a real encounter with each one, and you'll discover which ones prove you're not nearly as strong as you think you are. Oh yeah, and in case you all were wondering, no, the tiger is not on this list. In fact, none of the big cats are. The first opponent is the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on Earth. Adult males can weigh anywhere from 900 to over 2,000 pounds and grow up to 17 feet long. Their bite force reaches around 3,700 psi, which is one of the strongest ever recorded. Now, crocodiles don't usually go hunting grizzly bears. But the problem is, you're curious, you're powerful. So when you step toward the water to drink, you don't expect anything to challenge you. That's when the river explodes. The crocodile launches out of the water and clamps onto your foreleg before you can react. The pressure is instant and crushing. You roar and swipe at its head, but the top of its skull is thick and armored. Your claws scrape, but they don't do much. And then it starts twisting. The death roll begins. Your whole world spins. This isn't wrestling like you're used to. This is pure torque meant to tear joints apart. Your shoulder strains as your body slams against the mud. If you're even knee-deep in water, you start losing balance fast. The crocodile doesn't need your whole body. It just needs one good grip. Once you're off balance, it drags you deeper. And if it gets you fully into the water, it doesn't have to beat you in strength. It just has to hold you under. Now let's say this happens right at the edge of the river. You manage to plant your back legs on solid ground. You rise up and use your full body weight to pull the crocodile partly out of the water. On land, things start changing. Crocodiles are explosive, but they aren't built for long fights on dry ground. Here you have the advantage. You can maul. You can rake at softer areas along its sides and underbelly. If you fully drag it onto land, your endurance and strength give you the edge. But here's the real problem. Most of the time, you don't see the crocodile first. The fight usually starts in its territory, and if even half your body is still in the water, it regains leverage instantly. Crocodiles don't need long fights. They need position. So if this battle starts in deep water, the crocodile wins more often than not. If it starts fully on dry land, you probably take it. But the outcome depends on one thing: who controls the terrain? And near water, you're not the apex predator anymore. The second opponent is the bull bison. This isn't prey. This is a 2,000-pound wall of muscle. Adult bulls can weigh anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 pounds. That's nearly double your weight, and they can run up to 35 miles per hour. Now you've hunted bison before, but let's be honest. Those were calves, or sick individuals. A full-grown bull is a different story. This fight happens on open ground, maybe snow-covered plains, maybe near a meadow. You approach slowly. The bull sees you. It doesn't run. That's your first warning. You rise onto your hind legs and roar, trying to intimidate it. That works on wolves. It works on most animals. It doesn't work here. The bison lowers its head. Its shoulders tighten. Then it charges. You try to sidestep and grab onto it. Wrestling is your strength. You're built for grappling. That shoulder hump exists for this exact reason. But the bison doesn't wrestle. It hits. Its skull slams into your ribs like a battering ram. Its horns drive forward, aiming for your chest and stomach. Even one clean impact can crack ribs or puncture deep into muscle. There are real cases of grizzlies being seriously injured or even killed by adult bison during confrontations, especially when the bear misjudges the charge. You swipe at its neck as it passes. You might land a claw strike. You might even draw blood, but the bison turns and charges again. Every hit carries nearly a ton of momentum behind it. You try to grab onto its hump from the side, but its neck and shoulder muscles are incredibly thick. It keeps driving forward, pushing you back with pure force. Now, here's where things matter. If the bison slips, if it stumbles in deep snow, if you manage to get onto its back and avoid the horns, you could potentially bring it down over time. But in a straight head-on fight, on open ground, you're fighting something heavier, faster in a straight line, and built like a moving tank. The bison doesn't need to outlast you. It just needs one clean charge. And unlike wolves or elk, This is not something that scares easily. This is collision warfare, and in a direct collision, you're the lighter animal. But the bison is nothing compared to what's coming next. The third opponent, the hippo. Despite looking like an oversized river cow with legs too short for its body, hippos are considered one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. They're responsible for hundreds of human deaths every year, more than lions. And unlike most animals, hippos don't bluff. Now this fight usually starts because of you. You wander too close to a river. Maybe there's a carcass near the bank. Maybe you're just testing unfamiliar territory. Either way, you step into an area the hippo considers personal property. And hippos are extremely territorial. Instead of backing away like most animals would when they see 700 pounds of muscle walking toward them, the hippo charges. Its mouth opens nearly 150 degrees. Tusks up to 20 inches long, thick, curved, and designed not for grazing, but for crushing and piercing. Its bite force is around 1,800 pounds per square inch. You roar and stand upright. That works in North America. It does not work here. The hippo barrels forward anyway. You try to sidestep and rake your claws across its face. You might leave cuts, but its skin can be up to 2 inches thick in places, layered with fat and dense muscle. Your claws struggle to reach anything vital. Your next instinct? Grapple. That's your specialty. You lunge in, trying to clamp onto its neck or shoulder. But here's the problem. This animal can weigh over 4,000 pounds. Some males push past 6,000. You're trying to wrestle something that outweighs you by more than a ton. It doesn't wrestle back, it bites. And if those tusks clamp down on your torso, the damage is immediate. One tusk can pierce through muscle and into organs. The other can crack ribs on impact. You feel pressure you've never felt before. The hippo uses its neck strength to thrash side to side. Each shake makes the wound worse. You try to pull away, but if this fight shifts even partially into shallow water, it uses its weight to shove you down. You're pinned. You can fight for 10 minutes on land. You cannot fight 3 tons pressing you into mud while you're bleeding. Hippos have stamina in water. They can hold position and overpower with sheer mass. If it gets a clean bite, your durability doesn't save you. It just delays the outcome. Now, is there a scenario where you win? Only if the hippo is young, or severely injured, or somehow caught completely away from water and off balance. But in a realistic encounter near rivers or wetlands, the hippo controls the pace. Most fights would end with you either retreating quickly or not getting up at all. This isn't predator versus predator. This is raw mass versus muscle. And when something twice your weight decides you're a problem, you're no longer the apex predator, you're just in the wrong territory. The next opponent, the Pacific walrus. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. A walrus? Seriously? But this isn't some clumsy beach animal. This is a 2,000 to 4,000 pound unit with tusks the size of short swords. Its hide alone can weigh over 1,000 pounds. Thick skin, dense blubber, muscle underneath. Even polar bears, which are larger than you, struggle with full-grown bull walruses. Now let's set the scene. You've wandered north, ice along the shoreline. You spot a massive shape resting near the water. It looks slow, awkward, heavy. You approach. The walrus lifts its head. It doesn't run. That's your first red flag. You charge. Your claws rake across its side. You feel resistance immediately. The skin is thick and elastic. Your strikes don't reach deep enough to cause real damage. So you go for the neck. But before you can get a clean bite, the walrus swings its head upward. Those tusks are nearly 3 feet long, and they are not decorative. If one connects with your abdomen, it can pierce straight through muscle. If it catches your chest, it can tear deep and cause massive bleeding. You try to circle it, but the walrus doesn't need agility, it uses weight. If it lunges forward and body checks you, that's over a ton of mass slamming into you. On ice, you lose footing. If you slip even once, you're exposed. Now, here's the key problem. You are built for grappling upright. The walrus stays low, grounded, and armed with 2 spears attached to its face. You cannot wrestle something that can impale you the moment you close distance. Could you win? Possibly. If it's young, if it's exhausted, if you manage to get behind it and avoid the tusks entirely. But in a straight, head-on confrontation with the mature bull, you're dealing with something twice your weight, wrapped in natural armor, armed with stabbing weapons. And one clean, upward thrust changes the entire fight. On ice, near water, or anywhere it can plant its weight. The walrus isn't prey. It's a fortress with spears, and you're the one trying to breach it. The next opponent? The giraffe. Yeah, I know. It looks peaceful. Almost. Until it moves. A full-grown bull giraffe weighs around 3,000 pounds and stands nearly 18 feet tall. That's not just tall. That's second-floor window tall. Now let's set the scene. You're in open savanna, no trees close enough to climb, no cover. You see the giraffe feeding. It spots you. It doesn't run. That's your first mistake. You charge, thinking you'll do what you always do. Close distance, stand upright, and wrestle. But how do you grapple something whose chest is 10 feet above your head? You rush in. The giraffe pivots. Then it kicks. A giraffe's kick has enough force to kill a lion. Those hooves are hard, heavy, and come down with crushing power. If one connects with your skull, you're done. If it hits your ribs, fractures are likely. Lung collapse is possible. You try to circle under it. Now you're between its legs. That's even worse. It can kick forward, backward, and sideways. Each strike comes from long legs acting like swinging baseball bats made of bone. You stand upright to reach higher. That exposes your chest. Another kick, you stumble. This isn't a wrestling match. This is vertical warfare. Now, could you win? Maybe, if the giraffe slips. If you somehow latch onto a hind leg and pull it off balance. If you manage to avoid every kick and get a clean bite on the throat. But realistically, you are fighting something twice your weight with massive height and leverage advantage. It doesn't need precision. It just needs one clean shot. And unlike deer or elk, this isn't something you can easily overpower once you close distance. Out here on open ground, you're not the nightmare. You're the one looking up,